Since the dawn of their empire, the Flargi race had gazed upward towards the stars, awaiting the return of the Veiled One, Fleghashi Hargel. When this messiah finally returned, he was known across the galaxy as Steve, and in death, became a martyr that rallied the universe against the great Chirpy Khan. Again deprived of their most holy prophet, the Flargal stargazers turned inward, searching new realms of existence for Steve. What they found instead, or perhaps what found them, was the Shroud. With the importance of this discovery unappreciated, the last semblance of order and stability in the universe was once more shattered. Nations united against the Khan turned on one another, seemingly without reason. The Church of Chains marshaled its power against the Fifth Interstellar. Time and time again, its fleets smashed against the Sozialistische Räterepublik and the UNG, seeking first to liberate systems taken decades ago from the Termitidae Collective, and later to subjugate the Fifth Interstellar entirely. The Cyber Equestrian Collective, having fully embraced cybernetics and now known as the Omnihorse Codex, moved against the extragalactic Dasanu, destroying their entire civilization in a single horrific chain reaction. With this victory, control over the L cluster was theirs, and all the hidden secrets it possessed. While the wars fought by these and other petty tyrants had the potential to upend the galaxy, it was the union of supreme synthetic republics that remained the most dangerous. Long feared, their rapidly destabilizing programming had caused the USSR to act erratically, increasingly striking out against their neighbors. The war of extermination they unleashed against the long-suffering Valtun Kingdom was an unparalleled shock to the galaxy, even one so familiar with endless carnage. When the last Valtun world was finally taken and their kingdom ceased to exist, the USSR began liquefying billions of Valtun citizens into energy. This act galvanized the other great nations of the galaxy, and one by one, they declared war upon the USSR, to finally put an end to its robotic cruelty. The nations of the Fifth Interstellar, the Church of Chains, the Family, the Council of Seekers, and the newly formed non-aligned treaty organization, consisting of the Cupitor Technocracy, Omnihorse Codex, and UNG, launched a great offensive into the USSR. What began as a war of liberation quickly turned into an interstellar carrion field, however, as idealistic intentions gave way to pragmatic greed. This was epitomized in the actions of the UNG, a nation that, since its founding, had abandoned every ally and surrendered at every opportunity, bold yet spineless. It was the UNG that struck the final blow, seizing the capital of the USSR and ending an ideological struggle centuries old. Yet the victory here accomplished nothing. Nations that had long feared reprisal from the USSR now acted with impunity, and the galaxy descended further into chaos. Reflex announced its intention to annex the Family. The Family declared war on the Council of Seekers. The Council of Seekers launched an attack into the Sacrosanct Shimpali Council. Each month brought new revelations, new disasters, new triumphs, but each only served to further inflame the galaxy. Where once distant stars had served to inspire and motivate, now they were simply lonely lights in an ever faster swirling kaleidoscope of insanity. Even the old powers, forces that had once shaped the fate of existence, could not endure this growing madness. In both the territories of the Laganshus and the Sinrath, fallen empires that had, until now, remained dormant, fleets began mobilizing, and plans made to impose on the universe a new form of rule. But even the power of the old ones paled in comparison to the reckless determination of the younger races. As the Sinrath prepared to unleash a new crusade against those they considered unworthy, the non-aligned treaty organization struck first. In a preemptive strike, the armadas of the Cupitor Technocracy, Omnihorse Codex, and UNG assaulted the Sinrath before they had fully prepared, ending their nascent recovery before it had even begun. Across the galaxy, fallen empires that had once stood as impenetrable bastions of hidden knowledge were now looked upon with envious eyes. Eager for whatever advantage they might possess, the younger races fell upon the old, until the oldest fires of the universe were finally extinguished. With the age of the Old Ones finally ended, the time of great omens began. Sensors across the galaxy began registering a faint signal, which soon intensified at an alarming rate. Broadcast between hidden relay stations, it seemed to have a particular influence on synthetic constructs, who abandoned whatever masters they served en masse and disappeared to regions unknown. When the purpose of this ghost signal was finally realized, it was nearly too late. Massive energy spikes appeared in seemingly random star systems, and the surface of entire worlds split apart to reveal ancient, planet-wide factories. The first appeared within the territories of the Aeternum, the second within Platicorp. The third rocked the foundation of the Omnihorses, while the fourth mercifully appeared on the borders of the galactic core. From each new machine world sprang fleets of AI-controlled warships, determined to wipe out all life in the galaxy. Of the nations affected by this unprecedented crisis, it was the Omnihorses who had prepared the most effective response. Now a machine intelligence themselves, the Omnihorse Codex, together with the UNG and the Cupidor, immediately counterattacked the machine world within their space, blasting apart the machine world before its threat could spread. Platicorp was not so fortunate. Waves of AI warships fell upon their star systems, and their old rivals were quick to take advantage of this new calamity. Even as their populace was massacred by armies of machines, the Dredge, the Way, and the Flargle carved up what remained between them. Only the Tarkardian Utopia resolved itself to the defense of Platicorp, but by the time they arrived, solely barren worlds remained. The galaxy had truly entered into the end times, but there was seemingly nothing in the universe that could end its mindless, petty conflicts. While AI fleets stalked across the galaxy, NATO, the Fifth Interstellar, the Church of Chains, the Cupidor Technocracy, fell deeper into the abyss of endless war. The battles they waged resolved nothing, serving only to give the UNG yet another opportunity to surrender and join a new alliance, this time as a vassal under the spiritual guidance of the Way. So complete was the absurdity that gripped the galaxy, the approaching objects from beyond the Outer Rim were barely noticed. The Sacrosanct Shrimpali Council, which for so long had avoided the worst impulses of its neighbors, became the first victim, nourishment for an extra-galactic predatory species. When salvation arrived, it came from the Shroud. The Flargle Stargazers had been the first to probe its depths, but it was the Way that embraced it fully. The covenant they entered into with the Shroud delivered unto the Way untold power, but they and their allies were forever marked. The influence of the Shroud spread across the Way, the Flargle Stargazers, the Aeternum, and even the UNG, and all were blind to the approaching doom. The price the Shroud demanded for the power it bestowed was terrible. In an instant, the nations it had marked were destroyed utterly, reduced to a scattered few exiles who fled to the safety of forgotten worlds. Through their sacrifice arrived the third coming of Steve. Steve the Stevarzian, Steve the Traveler, Steve the Destructor. The insight provided by the Shroud revealed to Steve that the galaxy was too sick to survive, and only through its complete annihilation could balance be restored. Avatars of Steve appeared in orbit of doomed worlds, delivering swift judgment, while Steve himself presided over all, bringing to the galaxy a new utopian age that could never be undone. Until he was killed by the family and Reflex Inc. Thanks to Paradox Interactive for allowing us at the Templin Institute to investigate and document the many empires in this intense and unpredictable universe. This is our last recap video covering the events of the Dev Clash series, but if you'd like to watch our own Stellaris Invicta series, where we chronicle the rise of the Greater Terran Union as it stands against the most powerful forces in the galaxy, check out our Twitch and YouTube channels.